Hello everyone, this is Asghar Nazir. Today we will discuss about switch case statements. What are they, why we need them, what are their limitations. So switch case statement matches a value from a variable and then it executes a statement according to the value of that variable. We can write the same logic with the help of if, else, if conditions as well. But the reason we should be using these switch case statements is switch case statements are very fast. They are very efficient. Now there are some limitations as well. All the things that we can do with if, else, if conditions, they are not possible with the help of switch case statements. So for example, inside an if, else, if condition, I can use a boolean, I can use a float, I can use a double, long, anything. But inside the switch case statement, these data types are not allowed. We cannot use them. Another limitation is we can use logical operators inside the if, else, if conditions, but they are also not allowed inside switch case statements. So this is how we should decide whether we should be going with the if, else, if conditions or switch case statements. Wherever possible, go with the switch case statement. If something is not supported and is not doable in the switch case statement, then go with the if, else, if condition. So your first priority always should be switch statements. And they also make your code more readable. So it's better. For example, here I have written a piece of code with the help of switch case statement. I have a variable iPhone in which I am storing a value iPhone 14, and then I am writing switch all in lowercase, then parentheses, and inside the parentheses I have passed this variable, then curly brackets just like we use with the if, else, if conditions, and then I have written some cases. So we start with the case keyword, then space, and then we write the value. So for example, whenever the value of iPhone variable will be iPhone 14, then this line of code will be executed, and then we end this case with a break. Again, on the case number 2, whenever the value of the iPhone will be iPhone 14 Pro, then this line will be executed. So it checks the value of the variable, and depending upon what is the value of that variable, it executes a specific case, a specific line of code that we have written in that case. And just like we can have an else at the end of if, else, if conditions, when no condition is matched, that else block is executed. We also have a default block, a default case. For example, if iPhone contains a value that is not present inside any case, it's not iPhone 14, let's say for example if I say iPhone 13, now there is no match, so what will switch do? It will execute this default statement. So if there is no match, we execute the default statement. If there is a match, that matched case is executed. So let me run this and let me show you how it looks like. So if we run this code, we see device not available. Why we see device not available? Because this iPhone 13 is not present in any of the cases. So the switch case statement executes the default case. However, if I change it to iPhone 14, now it matches to this first case. So now if I execute this code, I will see you can buy this device for $7.99. So it matches the value of the variable, and then depending upon the match, it executes the line of code that we have written inside that case. These breaks that we have written here, they are optional. And if I now run this code, I will see this you can buy this device for $7.99, as well as I will see this you can buy this device for $9.99. I will see two lines because I removed the break statement from here. So whenever we remove the break statement, it keeps on executing all the lines of code that it sees unless and until it hit a break. So we can also use this for our benefits. I will show you an example later on. So let me show you another example of the switch case statement. Here, let me make it a little bigger. Here I am using an int variable, int and then day, it is equal to 1, and then I am passing that day variable inside this switch statement, and then I have written all the cases. Now depending upon the value of this day variable, an exact match will happen and we will see a value on the output. So for example, if I put in 3 here, it will display the day Wednesday to us. So we see this Wednesday here. So this is how we use the integer type of data with the switch case statements. Now let me show you why we should be using the switch case statements. So let me open another file side by side here. Let's say I put the value 5 here, and now I debug this code. So if I debug this code, you will realize that in if conditions, it goes through all the above condition. It first checks if the day is equal to 1, then it checks if the day is equal to 2, then it checks day is equal to 3. Unless and until there is a match, it keeps on checking the conditions, and then once the match is found, then it executes that line of code and we see the output Friday. But it's very different for the switch case statement. If I run the exact same code, if I put 5 here, you will see it will directly jump to that Friday instead of checking the other conditions one by one. So if I run this code and if I say go to the next step, it goes inside the switch statement and it directly jumps to the Friday. But inside the if else if condition, there were 5 comparisons that were made, which means this code is 5 times slower than this code. So this is the reason we should be using the switch case statements. They are more readable and they are very fast. Here, depending upon the condition, if we have so many conditions, it can be super slow. So let me show you the limitations of the switch case statement. The first thing that is not allowed is we cannot use all the data types, all the primitive data types. For example, if I try to use the double data type, I will get an error. I cannot also use the long data type here. I cannot use the float data type. I cannot also use the boolean data types. So this is the first thing which is not allowed. Another thing which is not allowed, I cannot do something like this. For example, I cannot say if day is greater than 1. I cannot use relational operators here. I cannot also use the logical operators. I cannot say, for example, if day is greater than 1 and day is less than 5, it's weekday. I cannot do that. I cannot use relational operators. I cannot use logical operators, but all of this is possible inside an if condition. So for example, let me show you. I can, for example, if I am inside an if condition, I can say if day is greater than 1, no issues. I can also use the logical operator. I can say if day is greater than 1 and day is less than 5 or something like that, I can do that. But with switch case statements, this is not allowed. So some data types are not supported: float, boolean, long, double, and relational operators and logical operators are also not supported. So that's it about the switch case statements. Whenever possible, try to use a switch case statement because they are way faster and they are readable. But if it is not possible, then go with the if else if conditions. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.